2020 saw a spike in gun sales, and in turn, one North Alabama county also saw a spike in people wanting to carry their guns. Our Kenesha D spoke to law enforcement about why they think there was such a big increase.
I'm here at the Morgan County Sheriff's Office, and sheriff's officials say they believe the increase in concealed carry applications is due to the unrest across the country as well as this past election.
When you add a pandemic as well as shutdown, masks, everything else that we went through, all those things add to people's desire to make sure that they're protected.
Morgan County Sheriff spokesperson Mike Swafford says there was a 72.5% increase in concealed carry permit applications last year compared to 2019. The application process was moved online due to the pandemic.
Early on in March, we moved our process online, making it easier for the public to have access to that. So we think that contributed early on.
Swafford says there is a screening process that goes rather quickly.
Anybody who applies, they go through a federal background check. We check their criminal history. There's a mental health component to it. So that's what everybody goes through. And if they've had violent issues in their past, that's looked into and checked. And it's all done rather quickly.
However, applicants can encounter some delays.
Domestic violence incidents, those type of things can slow them down, but as long as they can get a disposition from the courts, we're able to work through that.
Overall, Swafford's message for this year?
Simple. We're going through it right with everyone. 2020 was what it was, but we have the hope of 2021, and we're here to support and serve just like we always have.
Putting the Valley first, Kenesha Dees, WZDX News.